These Minneapolis suburbs will explode in 2026, so you need to get in early. Builders just bet $750 million on one Minneapolis suburb, but it's not the one you think. While buyers pile into Edina and Wayzata, 4 outer ring suburbs are pulling in families, major investment, and about 30% growth projected through 2025. I've been in real estate for 25 years, and today I'm showing you the 4 Minneapolis suburbs that will explode in 2026, including one where you can still buy in the mid 300s while downtown gets built around you. The window will close this year. Here's why. So suburb number 1 is Lakeville. Let's start with Lakeville because you're looking at the South Metro and wondering where the growth is actually right now. It's here. It's Lakeville. Burnsville filled up years ago. Apple Valley did too, but Lakeville didn't. And that's the whole story right there. Growth here has been really, really strong. Lakeville led the entire Twin Cities in population growth from 2020 to 2023. By 2026, it's sitting at around 78,000 people, which already makes it the 9th biggest city in Minnesota. And it's not slowing down. You're seeing a lot of families who can actually afford what they want moving in for the space, the schools, and the newer homes. But the big difference with Lakeville is land. It still has a lot of land that can be built on well into the future. Most South Metro suburbs are tapped out, but Lakeville isn't, and builders know it. That's why you see a ton of building activity here. You're talking hundreds of millions in building permits with commercial, industrial, and residential all moving at the same time. So it's not just houses going up. Jobs, services, and infrastructure are all coming together. You can see it in the projects going up right now. There's the First Center, a 40,000 square foot public safety training hub, and Dakota Electric is building a new energy center facility. There's the RL Cold Campus, 292,000 square foot cold storage facility in Air Lake. This isn't random stuff popping up. This is all planned and growing and moving together. On the housing side, the city has approved a lot of residential development, including single-family homes, townhomes, and mixed-use projects downtown. So you're not just getting sprawl, you're getting neighborhoods, retail, and public spaces all coming online at once. And later on, I'll show you what's coming to Blaine because that one's about to surprise a lot of people, so stick around. Now, schools are a huge reason families land here. Lakeville area schools rank in the top 10% of Minnesota school districts with strong performance across all grade levels. Enrollment is growing so fast that they are already planning new attendance areas for the next school year. And here's the part people don't always realize. When districts are expanding this quickly, it usually means families are committing to long-term living. That tends to support home values over time. While homes here are mostly in the mid 400s to low 500s, newer and bigger homes push into the mid to high 500s. You're getting modern layouts, bigger lots, strong schools without paying Edina or Wayzata prices. Here's why this matters in 2026. Lakeville is absorbing buyers who still want the South Metro but can't find space in Burnsville or Apple Valley anymore. Those areas are built out, but Lakeville still has room with record permits, building infrastructure projects, and schools expanding. 2026 is when the growth really starts to show. The trade-off is the drive. You're about 30 minutes from downtown Minneapolis on I-35, but if space, schools, and strong-term upside matter more than shaving off 10 minutes, Lakeville makes a lot of sense. So if you're a family that cares about schools and doesn't mind the commute, or you're a financially solid buyer who wants new construction without Edina prices, Lakeville fits you very well. But if you're more of a move-up buyer and you don't want to feel like you're living inside a construction zone, that's where Maple Grove comes in. And they're doing this very differently. Now, if you've watched this and you're trying to time a move into one of these growth suburbs, this literally is what I help people with every day. Buyers, relocations, families trying to get ahead of these shifts before they show up in the pricing. Whether you're looking at Lakeville, Maple Grove, Blaine, or Woodbury, we'll walk through what's available and what actually fits your situation. My contact information is in the description below. All right, let's keep going. So suburb number 2, we've already mentioned it, Maple Grove. So let's slide up to Maple Grove because this one's a totally different kind of growth story. The thing with Maple Grove is it's not about wide open land or brand new subdivisions popping up everywhere. That's already happened years ago. This place is more about refining what's already there. And for a lot of buyers, that's exactly the appeal. You've got over 73,000 people here right now, which makes it one of the bigger suburbs in the metro. And by 2050, it's projected to be around 90,000. That's close to 30% growth, and that's huge for a city that's about 85% built out already. So there isn't much land left. What's growing now is infill, redevelopment, and higher quality projects. And the cool thing with Maple Grove is retail. I mean, it's got the second highest retail concentration in the Twin Cities, only behind the Mall of America. The shops at Arbor Lakes are already a big draw, and they're still adding more. LL Bean is opening a 17,000 square foot store in the summer of 2026. Duluth Trading is already there, Northern Tap House is coming in also, and a new Culver's is coming. You're not driving all over the metro to eat or shop, it's all right there. And that lifestyle piece is a big deal for you. You know, when you can get dinner, coffee, shopping, all within a few minutes, you're buying convenience. And that tends to hold value really, really well when the market shifts. There's a lot of money going into the city itself. You've got about 155 new townhomes coming online in Northheim. Boston Scientific is expanding their campus, and the community center just wrapped up a major renovation in 2026, including a new ice rink. The city is investing back into itself. And keeping this in mind too, Maple Grove is hosting Hockey Day in Minnesota in 2028, which tells you they're leaning hard into family, lifestyle, sports, and recreation. School-wise, you have Osseo area schools and Wayzata's area schools, two of the biggest districts in the state. Maple Grove Senior High has a great academic performance that's pretty solid. For most families, it checks the box. Now pricing, homes here are mostly in the mid 400s to low 500s, and newer builds push into the upper 500s. You're paying more than Lakeville, there's no question about it, but you're getting a suburb that already feels finished. Less dust, less construction zones, more polished. This really matters for Maple Grove in 2026. You've got new retail anchors opening, community projects wrapping up, and development shifting into a more mature phase. This place is turning into a real self-contained suburb where people live, work, shop, and hang out without needing to leave the town they live in. And stick with me because what's coming to Woodbury next is a totally different kind of growth, and it changes how you look at the East Metro. Now, the trade-off is pretty simple. You're not buying early raw land here. Prices already reflect the quality, so the window for value is tighter. But if you want something that feels established, convenient, and put together, Maple Grove does that really well. And if you're watching this thinking that you need something more affordable, that's where the next suburb comes in, because the next one is where the biggest transformation is happening, and it's still way cheaper to get into. I'm talking about Blaine. So let's talk about Blaine, because that's where things really get interesting. About 4 million people come through Blaine every year for the sports. The National Sports Center and the TPC Twin Cities have been pulling that kind of traffic for years. But here's the thing, until now, they'd show up, they'd play their games, and leave. No downtown, no place to hang out, no reason to stay. That's about to flip big time. There's a $750 million sports and entertainment district going in right next to the National Sports Center. It broke ground in 2025. It's about 60 acres, and it's basically creating a downtown from scratch. Concerts, events, places to eat, places to stay, places to actually spend some money. And part of that project is a stadium with 5,000 seats that can host concerts, events, and even minor league baseball. You've got hotels planned, apartments, walking paths, public spaces. So this is not small stuff. And then this is the big one, a 250,000 square foot Scheels sports store is coming, set to open in 2028, and it's expected to bring in over 500 jobs with it. And if you've never been inside a Scheels, it isn't just a store. There's a Ferris wheel inside, there's a massive aquarium, arcade games, a restaurant. It's a destination. And it's landing here because the sports traffic already exists. Now, zooming out for a second, Blaine has over 74,000 people today. It's the biggest city in Anoka County. And by 2050, it's projected to be right around 90,000 people, which is almost a 30% growth trajectory. That's a lot. And the National Sports Center alone is massive, about 600 acres, more than 50 soccer fields, 8 ice rinks, and a PGA-designed golf course. It also is hosting the 2026 Special Olympics USA Games, which is going to put Blaine on the national map in a way that it hasn't before. Now, here's where buyers are really paying attention. Home prices in Blaine are still sitting in the low 300s to low 400s, and that's it. It's the most affordable suburb we're talking about in this video, and it's not even close. Think about it for a second. You're buying in the mid 300s while a $750 million project is getting built literally around you. Most people wait until everything's finished. By then, prices have already moved up, maybe higher than you want to spend. Schools here are solid. Blaine is part of Anoka-Hennepin, the largest district in the state. Blaine High School has a strong academic performance with 92% graduation rate, which is really solid. And in a bit, I'll put all of this together to show you what these suburbs actually have in common, because that's where the real pattern shows up. But first, let me break down why this matters a lot in 2026. The entertainment district will be well underway. The Scheels plan is already approved. The city is gearing up for the Special Olympics. This is when you stop hearing about what's coming and start seeing it. If you want affordability with an upside, Blaine makes sense, especially if you've been priced out of the West or South Metro. You're still getting more house for your money, and you're early in the growth phase. This is the suburb where you get in before the crowd figures it out. Now, if you're not trying to bet on potential and you want something that already feels established, that's where the East Metro comes in. Our fourth suburb, Woodbury. So the last one here is Woodbury. And I'll be honest with you, Woodbury doesn't feel loud like Blaine. It's not flashy, it's not screaming growth, but don't confuse it with quiet and slow, because a lot is happening here. Woodbury is already big. You're talking about 80,000 people, which makes it the 8th largest city in Minnesota, and it's still growing. Long term, it's projected to be just under 95,000 people by 2050. But the key thing with Woodbury is that how the growth happens is very controlled, it's planned, and very intentional. So this is really where 2026 starts to matter for Woodbury. The gold line kicked on in 2025, and that's not a small thing. It's a $505 million transit line that runs straight from Woodbury to St. Paul. It has 16 stations, and buses come about every 10 minutes. Almost right away, you started seeing development stack up along that corridor. We're talking about big investment already in motion with more than $1 billion being tracked. And that's not by accident. Cities don't drop $500 million on transit unless they're confident people and projects are coming in right behind it. At the same time, Woodbury has been quietly loading up one area with stuff people actually use. Topgolf opened in October 2025. That's a 68,000 square foot development right there. Main event is coming in 2026 with bowling and arcade, food, all of it. It's also opening the Slick City Action Park, about 50,000 square feet indoors. And it's not just private stuff either. Central Park wrapped up a $42 million upgrade with an amphitheater and new gathering space. And then there's the 238,000 square foot indoor sports complex that just got approved. So when you step back, it's not one project, it's transit, entertainment, a public space, all landing at the same time. That's when growth starts to show up. So yeah, that's 5 major attractions opening or just opened in a 24-month period, all right on top of each other. That doesn't happen by accident. So schools are another reason people land here. Woodbury is served by South Washington County Schools and Stillwater Schools. And Woodbury High School performs really well too. That matters to families thinking about long-term residency. Now let's talk numbers. Woodbury is the priciest of the 4 that we're talking about. Most homes land in the mid 400s to mid 500s, but you're paying for something that already feels done. Strong schools, transit access, entertainment, parks. You're not betting on what might happen. You're buying into what's already here. Here's why all of this is happening in 2026 and what really matters. Now the transit is running, the entertainment is open, and Woodbury full steps into the role as the East Metro lifestyle hub. That's when buyers who are watching finally move and prices usually follow and go up. Woodbury makes a lot of sense if you're someone who wants stability, good schools, easy access to St. Paul, and a suburb that already feels complete. The trade-off is price. You're paying for certainty, but that premium comes at a price, which is exactly why understanding what these 4 suburbs share becomes so important. All right, so zoom out for a second, because this is the pattern that matters. And this is where people either get in early or they show up late and wonder what happened. All 4 of these suburbs are doing the same thing. They're putting money into infrastructure first, then they're letting demand catch up after. And here's the part most people miss. When a suburb builds before demand hits, it usually comes out ahead. That's the difference between Lakeville today and places like Burnsville 10 years ago. Burnsville waited until it was built out, then tried to fix things. Lakeville is being built while land still exists. Now layer in the big picture. All 4 of these suburbs sit in areas the Met Council already projects to grow between 25 to 30% by 2050. That's not hype. That's where the region expects people to land. And they're backing that up with real money. That $380 million project in Lakeville, the Maple Grove expansion, Blaine's $750 million project, and Woodbury's $500 million transit line. Cities don't spend like that unless they expect growth to follow. And that's not just roads and buildings. Each place is stacking lifestyle, schools, and location in a way that actually works together. They've also still got room to grow, which matters more than people realize. Not unlimited room, but enough. That's the sweet spot. And that's why 2026 matters. This is when all the groundwork turns visible. You see construction wrapping up, new places are opening, and people who've been watching finally move. And once that happens, prices usually follow. And here's the interesting part. All 4 suburbs are growing at similar speeds, but they're priced very differently. And that gap is where the strategy comes in. Real growth doesn't come with a headline. It shows up quietly and then moves fast. Builders are already there. Infrastructure is already funded. buyers show up before the news does. So if you're looking at the Twin Cities and wondering where growth is actually concentrating for 2026, it's these 4 suburbs. Space still exists, big money already is moving, and the lifestyle math finally lines up. It comes down to this: get in while it's still early, or wait until everyone else catches on. You'll see this over and over. The suburbs that invest early do better long term. The ones that wait get crowded and pricey. And with these 4 suburbs, you're either early or you're going to be paying for it later. If you're ready to move to Lakeville, Maple Grove, Blaine, or Woodbury before 2026 projects drive prices higher, email me at team@hhgus.com today, and I'll show you exactly what's available in your price range right now. And the Twin Cities housing market just shifted. I linked my breakdown of what's actually happening with pricing, builder incentives, and where real estate opportunities are hiding right now. So don't miss it. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you on the next video and the next house.